What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check updates, the two new upcoming packages, the next infrastructure package, and the next stimulus package, known as the American Jobs Plan and the American Families Plan, as well as what is going on in the world today. We have some major news directly from the White House that the White House has made a deal, at least preemptively. I'm going to give you guys all the details on that and explain what it means regarding the next infrastructure package and the next stimulus package, as well as the 15 or 20 other items that are currently being negotiated on in the next stimulus package. Remember, in this next stimulus package, they want to have a possible fourth stimulus check, monthly recurring stimulus checks that multiple different Democrats, dozens of Democrats are pushing for, an extension of the child monthly checks, the child tax credits, to extend those for up until 2025, as well as different proposals to increase Social Security payments to mostly seniors, as well as expand Medicare to include additional benefits like hearing, dental, vision, and hearing aids completely for free at no additional cost, as well as a student loan debt forgiveness, 2 years of free community college, 2 years of free preschool, and a lot more. Also, I have some really big news about some new stimulus program or a new stimulus program that is going to be becoming available that could put thousands of dollars in your pocket. If you've been watching the show, you know that there is a lot of different stimulus programs besides just the stimulus check that most people think about. And a lot of people don't even really know about all these other stimulus programs. Well, a new one has just been announced, and it's a very big one. We're going to cover all that in this episode. So, this is one of those episodes you'll want to watch all the way to the end. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new updates. We cover all sorts of different stimulus provisions, stimulus items that are becoming available now that could put money in your pocket, as well as the negotiations over the next stimulus package and the next infrastructure package. Also, if you can, hit the like button for us. It really helps out our channel. Okay, I'm going to give you guys the details on this deal that the White House has preemptively made. And let me just kind of explain to you, and then we'll explain to you after I give you guys all the details about the deal. Okay, right now, the Democrats are in charge of the House, the Senate, and the presidency. Okay, and they can pass deals or packages through the reconciliation process. Right now, the Democrats are deciding whether they're going to pass a massive $4 to $6 trillion bill, combining the next infrastructure package, the American Jobs Plan, which will provide trillions or at least $8 trillion of roads, bridges, and infrastructure, senior care, and all sorts of different things for our country. If they're going to pass that with Republican support and pass a smaller bill, or if they're going to combine the two and pass them through the reconciliation process. I do think, and I've said this before on the channel, I do think it would probably be better for stimulus related things that they pass the infrastructure package with Republican support. I think that will make it easier to pass the next package as opposed to passing them together as one large package. But of course, some people think the infrastructure package should be a lot more. A lot of Democrats, a lot of Republicans think that it should be, well, around the amount that they're proposing now. And I just think it'll be easier to get all the Democrats to vote yes on the stimulus package if they only have to vote on the stimulus package and not the stimulus package and the infrastructure package combined with a very large, huge bill. Okay. Okay, here we go. Late last night, senators say that the White House aides have agreed to an infrastructure framework deal, that they have made a deal preemptively with the White House. As you can see here, senators involved in the bipartisan negotiations say that they and the White House officials have agreed to an infrastructure deal or framework, and they'll meet with President Biden today to brief him. Quote, Republicans and Democrats have come together along with the White House, and we've agreed on a framework, and we're going to be heading to the White House tomorrow, which is now today, Senator Mitt Romney told reporters after a meeting last night. Senator Joe Manchin, another member of the group, confirmed that White House officials in the meeting signed off on the framework and that, quote, they came to an agreement. Senator Joe Manchin says, quote, they said it sounded good. We said we're all on the same page. The plan, according to the senator, consists largely of details the bipartisan group has released in recent weeks and has been trying to gain momentum on. It includes roughly the same amount of new spending, which is $579 billion dollars for a total of $974 billion dollars over 5 years or $1.2 trillion dollars over 8 years for the physical infrastructure package. Now, really quickly, what that means, if you're paying attention there, and I know this stuff gets pretty complicated. I get sometimes I have to read this stuff several times. They're basically gonna they've made a deal with the White House. The president's going to confirm it tomorrow or meet with them tomorrow. But it looks like there's a $1.2 trillion dollars and only 600 of it, for round number, 600 billion is new money. That means they're going to be using $600 billion dollars of the old stimulus money that is available. If you've been watching this channel, you know that there was around $2 trillion dollars of old stimulus money from the past five stimulus packages, six stimulus packages, I should say, actually. Remember, former President Donald Trump passed five packages, two of which had checks, but there was five stimulus packages in total. President Biden has passed one. And I think it was the Congressional Budget Office said that there was $2 trillion dollars left over from a little bit of each of those packages on stimulus money that never got spent for the various stimulus programs. Okay. So there's about $2 trillion. $350 billion of that is going to states and cities. So that puts us at roughly $1.7 trillion dollars for round numbers, we'll say. They're going to now take $600 billion dollars out of that $1.7 trillion, and that'll leave around $1.1 trillion dollars for round numbers of stimulus money that is available, that has already been passed by Congress, and will still be available after passing this infrastructure package. So Democrats want to use that for the next stimulus package, the next stimulus check, and basically all the Democratic priorities: raising Social Security, extra Medicare benefits, the next stimulus check, possible monthly recurring stimulus checks. So, just for reference, the third stimulus check, the $1,400, cost about $400 billion. So, they could do almost three stimulus checks of $1,400 each to the American people with that $1.1 trillion that is already approved, that just has not been spent. And that's after they use the money for the physical infrastructure package and after they use the money for the states and cities, which the states and cities have pretty much got now. Okay. Remember, states, cities, and counties are getting $350 billion from the third stimulus check package, and they're sending it out in at least portions of it to you guys, to your residents of your state. We have California that has this new $600 stimulus check for up to 25 million Californians. The second round is going to go to people making up to $75,000. We have all sorts of different states, cities, and counties that are kind of doing programs like this. And I'll bring you guys a new one here in just a moment. Actually, it's the largest one yet to date. So note here, this agreement is effectively tentative until and if President Biden signs off. Senators noted that they still also need to draft the legislation and iron out the final details. Quote, "There are always details. We haven't written this down yet," said Republican Senator Mitt Romney. And Senator Collins added that, quote, "There are still a lot of details to be worked out." White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki says White House senior staff had two productive meetings today with the bipartisan group of senators who have been negotiating about infrastructure. The group made progress towards an outline of a potential agreement, and the president has invited the group to come to the White House, which is now today, to discuss this in person. This is a big boost for the likelihood that Biden is able to get the biggest legislative priority through Congress and a significant breakthrough for the chances of a bipartisan agreement between the Republicans and the Democrats. So number one, again, as I said, I think it's a better deal for our country. Whether you're, again, I'm not Republican, I'm not Democrat, but I just kind of see things as a realist. One, I think it's good to have both sides agree, especially on a large package like this. Two, we can move on faster to the next stimulus package and get the help out that Americans continue to need. And three, there's $1.1 trillion left over from stimulus money that could pay for at least a single stimulus check with ease without them even needing to pass new money. Of course, they're going to pass new money in this next stimulus package. Also, what's interesting to note is they did not mention yet if there's going to be any tax raises or what they call pay fors in for this physical infrastructure package. If you've been watching or you've been following along, you know that President Biden is just kind of in favor of tax increases for what he calls the wealthy, the 1%, as well as corporations. But Republicans are against that. Republicans are kind of okay with what they call a use tax, a USE tax, use tax. So if you use the roads, then they want to propose a gasoline tax. But President Biden doesn't want to do that because that would essentially raise taxes on the average everyday person who goes and buys gas at the gas station. And President Biden is trying to stick to his word that he won't raise taxes on anybody making less than $400,000. But you got to be careful there because it's like a catch-22. Like, he wants to raise taxes and help pay for some of these packages. Remember, these packages don't need to be paid for. The first six stimulus packages, nobody's going to pay for them. There were no tax raises, there were no use taxes, and the government already runs a deficit anyway. So former President Trump passed 5 stimulus packages, and Biden passed 1 so far without any tax raises. And again, the government already runs a deficit every year anyways. So all that money is just going to go on the national debt and just sit there forever. So then we can move on to the next stimulus package, which with all these great things that they're currently proposing: for stimulus check, monthly recurring possible stimulus checks that are separate from the child tax credits, which are already monthly recurring stimulus checks. Some people call them stimulus checks, and some people call them tax credit checks. It's a funny thing because they're passed from the third stimulus check package, so they are a stimulus provision. But the tax credit has been around for like 23 years. But again, the Democrats increased it in the third stimulus check package to $3,000 for children ages 6 through 17 and $3,600 for children under the age of 6. And the IRS is going to start sending out monthly checks of $250 to $300 per month. So even though it's been around for 23 years, it was basically increased by the Democrats by 50 to 75% because it used to be $2,000. So it is a stimulus provision. It was passed by the third stimulus check. But whether you call it a stimulus check or you call it a government check or you call it a tax credit, by the way, stimulus checks are actually tax credits. It really doesn't matter. It's money in your pocket that goes to help you. And the Democrats are pushing to extend that child tax credit in this next package for 65 million children, as well as a forced stimulus check, which goes out to like 85% of American eligible adults, as well as Social Security increases. I had a really big video on that yesterday. I'll link you to that at the end of this video as well, so you can watch about the proposed Social Security increases and Medicare increases as well. Next up, let me jump over to one of the largest stimulus programs that is now being proposed right now from the state of California. This comes from the $350 billion that is going out to all states and cities. As you can see here, this is going to be a major one, and this you need to pay attention even if you don't live in California, because these are the type of programs that are coming out in all 50 states, okay? From this $350 billion. As you can see here, California has a plan to pay back rent for low-income tenants, all of it. Yeah. The state is poised to embark on an ambitious, complex effort to cover the unpaid rent of low-income renters who struggled during the pandemic. As you can see here, swimming in cash from an unexpected budget surplus and federal stimulus money, California is planning rent forgiveness on a scale never seen before in the United States. A $5.2 billion program, billion with a B, is in final negotiations as the state legislature would pay 100% of unpaid rent that lower income Californians incurred during the pandemic and would be financed entirely by federal stimulus money. The state is also proposing to set aside $2 billion to pay for unpaid water and electricity bills. When California became the first state to shut down its economy last year during the pandemic, Governor Gavin Newsom predicted dire shortfalls in the state budget. But a year later, the state finds itself with so much money that it is poised to not only cover 100% of unpaid rent for low income tenants, but also give an additional $12 billion with a B back to taxpayers by sending state stimulus checks of at least $600 to millions of middle class Californians, up to 25 million Californians for round two of their state stimulus check that will go out to people making up to $75,000. The state's separate rental relief program would be available to residents who earn no more than 80% of the median income in their area and who can show pandemic related financial hardship. In San Francisco, a family of four would have to earn less than $146,000 to qualify. So, yeah, there's a lot of money, and a lot of families in California are going to be able to get this. Now, this is nothing to sneeze at because I've had comments from people all over the country already that have gotten $5,000, $8,000, $10,000, $13,000 of rent assistance or mortgage assistance from programs exactly like this. And this is a brand new one coming out. This is, what was it, $5.2 billion? This is actually larger than the New York program, which was announced just a few weeks ago by Governor Andrew Cuomo for $3.5 billion in rental assistance, which is a total, I'm sorry, $2.7 billion in rental assistance program for the state of New York for rent assistance for people, and $800 billion for small business recovery grants for a total of $3.5 billion. That's for the state of New York. If you are in New York, you should definitely Google that program and go and apply right now. Applications for that opened, I think it was on June 1st. So that is available now. A lot of these programs will literally pay your rent for like 12 months. So you could get $12,000 or even more from if your rent's $1,000 a month. Sometimes they'll pay some back pay. Sometimes they'll pay some forward pay. Yeah, very awesome programs. If you think about a $1,400 third stimulus check, imagine a $14,000 rent assistance program. And these are the type of programs that are going to be becoming available in all 50 states. So all 50 states are getting money. Counties, every county is getting money. And a lot of cities are getting money as well. And cities and counties are doing their own programs. We've seen this in the past with Orange County, Florida is always the one that kind of pops to my mind. That did 3 different rounds for the county money of $1,000 stimulus checks. They did a $1,000 stimulus check. It was a website you had to go to apply for. It was first come, first serve. Luckily, I let all you guys know about this last year if you were watching the channel. And they kind of like sold out real quick. And then they were like, wow, that worked really great. Let's help more people. And then they did a second round. It sold out really quick. Then they did a third round. It sold out really quick. And I remember last year when it took several months for a lot of these states and cities to kind of figure out what they were going to do with the money. Some of these states are kind of doing it now, but really they're just getting their money in the last week or so. Some of these states are going to be slower than others. Yeah, I get it. It's the government, right? I see the comments down below that says, no, not our governor. Our governor is going to line their pockets. I've seen that comment for literally like every state. Like I'll see a comment like saying the New York will never give money back. And then I'm like, they just passed a $3.5 billion rent assistance and small business assistance program. And then people will be like, oh, yeah, I didn't know about that. And honestly, that's because if you're not watching the show, you probably don't know about this. I mean, mainstream news does not cover this stuff. And that's why I show you these articles directly on screen. So, I'm not just making these numbers up. And you know that this is real. That's why I like to show you important articles like that and read it along with you and then kind of go over it with you guys. But yeah, I have a recent video I did of all the state, city, and county programs that I know about that are already kind of been announced. A lot of these are like in the proposal stages. And don't worry, all 50 states are, first of all 50 states have rent assistance and mortgage assistance money right now from the third stimulus check package. This is kind of a different bucket of money. There was like $45 billion for mortgage assistance, rent assistance, property tax assistance, and utility assistance. Separate, that was just for that stuff. And then there's this $350 billion that states, cities, and counties kind of get to decide what they want to do with it. They don't have to use it all on like stimulus type programs for you guys, but they do have to use a portion of it, and a larger portion than the last time states and cities got money, which was all the way back from the first stimulus check. So I'm going to link you to some important videos here in just a moment that you definitely should watch next if you want to get more information about all this stuff. I'll keep you up to date on everything stimulus related. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe down below. It's completely free to do so. It just makes it so you're more likely to not miss out on the videos. So the easiest way is subscribe down below and then click the bell icon that appears to all notifications to get reminder notifications when we go live. Remember these times every day. Say it with me: 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can click this top video here to watch my newest video about state, city, and county stimulus checks. You can click this video here to watch about an important information about the child monthly checks going out. If you have children, you haven't watched that, watch that next. And this bottom video is my most recent video about Social Security increase. I just did a really big one like yesterday. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.